In ancient Egypt, cats were more than just pets. Imagine for a moment a grand palace beside the Nile. Sunlight dances on cool stone floors, and a small striped cat weaves through the legs of a mighty pharaoh. This cat, soft and calm, is not afraid. She jumps onto the pharaoh's lap, purring as he strokes her silky fur. The courtiers watch, knowing this little animal holds a special place in everyone's heart. Stories like these filled Egyptian life. Cats wandered through markets and temples. They curled up beside their owners at night, safe from harm. Egyptians believed cats brought good luck. A cat in the house meant protection from snakes and evil spirits. The love for cats was deep and true. They were painted on walls and carved into statues. Some people even wore jewelry in the shape of a cat. In the city of Bubastis, a whole festival was held every year to honor the cat goddess, Bastet. Cats were family. When a beloved cat died, sadness filled the home. Egyptians showed their grief in a way that was both public and personal. Cats were everywhere in Egypt. They kept homes free from rats and mice, saving precious grain from being eaten. But they were more than just helpful animals. Egyptians saw cats as magical creatures, blessed by the gods. The goddess Bastet, with her cat's head and woman's body, was loved by all. She brought joy, music, and protection. People prayed to her for peace in their families. Statues of Bastet filled homes and temples. Some families even mummified their cats, hoping to keep them safe in the afterlife. Cats walked freely in temples. Priests fed them and cared for them like sacred beings. No one dared to hurt a cat. To do so was a terrible crime. If a cat was found dead, it was a serious matter. The whole neighborhood would mourn. Cats often wore golden earrings and tiny collars. Rich families made sure their cats had the best food and the softest beds. Even poor families loved their cats dearly, sharing what little they had. When a cat died, the family's grief was deep. Egyptians had a special way to show their sorrow. They shaved off their eyebrows. This was not done for any other pet, only for cats. Eyebrows, framing the eyes, were important in Egyptian beauty. To lose them was a sign of true mourning. Everyone in the house joined in. Mothers, fathers, and children would stand together and carefully remove their eyebrows. They did not paint them back until enough time had passed. This was a quiet message to the world. We have lost something precious. The mourning did not stop there. People cried for their cat, just as they would for a person. Sometimes they wrapped the cat's body in linen and buried it with care. They placed bowls of milk and toys in the grave, hoping the cat would find happiness in the next world. This eyebrow-shaving ritual lasted until the hair grew back. Only then was mourning finished. The family could smile again and perhaps welcome a new kitten into their lives. Mourning was important in ancient Egypt, not just for cats. When a family member died, people showed their sadness in different ways. They wore special clothes, sometimes made of rough linen. They covered their heads with dust or clay. Some even cut their hair or let it grow wild. For dogs, another beloved pet, Egyptians shaved their whole bodies. This was a sign that their hearts were heavy with grief. They might also fast or avoid music for many days. Friends and neighbors visited, bringing food and comfort. Priests led prayers and songs. Families gathered to tell stories about the one who had died. They held feasts and shared memories. The dead were never forgotten, but remembered with love and respect. Each ritual had its own meaning. Shaving eyebrows for cats, cutting hair for people, or shaving bodies for dogs. All were ways to show love and loss. These acts helped families heal after saying goodbye. Rituals were the heart of Egyptian life. Egyptians believed everything had meaning, from the way you touched your cat to the way you mourned its death. They thought these actions pleased the gods and kept bad things away. The act of shaving eyebrows showed respect for the cat's spirit. It was a promise that the cat was not forgotten. Egyptians believed the soul of a loved one, even a cat, could return to visit. By mourning openly, families hoped to help their pets find peace in the afterlife. These rituals also brought people together. When everyone took part, no one felt alone in their sadness. It was a time to remember, to cry, and to hope for happier days. For the Egyptians, life and death were closely linked. Rituals marked each step, from birth to passing on. They believed that by honoring the dead, they could protect the living and keep love alive. Life in Egypt was busy and bright, and cats were always there. In the mornings, children played with kittens in sunlit courtyards. Women carried baskets of fish, some set aside as treats for their favorite cats. Men greeted temple cats on their way to work, giving a gentle pat or a kind word. At night, cats curled up beside oil lamps, their eyes shining in the dim light. They chased shadows and watched over sleeping families. Some cats even rowed boats with their owners, keeping watch for mice among the reeds. Cats joined in family celebrations. When a baby was born, a cat's purr was said to bring good luck. On festival days, cats wore ribbons and beads, joining the laughter and music. They were not just pets, they were part of every story, every meal, every prayer. In art, cats were everywhere. Painted on pottery, carved into amulets, and drawn on papyrus, they watched over the living and the dead. Even today, we can see their graceful forms in museums and tombs. The story of cats in ancient Egypt is a lesson in love and respect. Egyptians saw beauty and mystery in every creature. Their rituals, like shaving eyebrows for a lost cat, remind us how deeply they cared. By honoring their cats, Egyptians taught us to value the animals in our own lives. They believed that every life was sacred, no matter how small. Their rituals helped them heal, remember, and hope. Today, we still find comfort in our pets. We mourn when they are gone, just as the Egyptians did. Their stories remind us that love does not end, even after death. The ancient Egyptians left us many treasures, but perhaps the greatest is their belief in kindness, respect, and the magic of everyday life.